Let's talk about tuberculosis. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. That sounds like something straight out of a history book, right? A disease from a bygone era. But the reality is, this ancient plague is anything but a relic of the past. It's a clear and present danger, hiding in plain sight and impacting millions of lives right now. And believe me, the true scale of this modern crisis is absolutely staggering.
Okay, let's just start with a number that should really stop you in your tracks. According to the World Health Organization, in 2019 alone, tuberculosis claimed the lives of 1.2 million people. That's not some historical statistic. That's a modern-day crisis happening right under our noses.
And the problem is way, way wider than just fatalities. In that very same year, 10 million people were newly infected with TB. I mean, this isn't a disease that's just contained to one small corner of the globe. Its footprint is massive, making it one of the top infectious killers in the entire world.
So that brings up a really important question. We're all taught that TB is a lung disease, right? But if it's just stuck in the lungs, how does it manage to cause so much damage all over the place? Well, the simple answer is, it doesn't stay there.
This is where we run into something called extrapulmonary tuberculosis. You see, the TB bacteria are incredibly tough. Once they're in your body, they can actually escape the lungs. They basically hijack your blood and lymph systems like a highway to travel around and set up new infection sites in almost any organ. And this pathogen is, well, it's incredibly versatile. We're talking about infections in the brain, the kidneys, even the spine, which is a condition known as Pott's disease. It can attack the lining of your heart or, as we're about to see, the reproductive system.
And it's this last form that is just so insidious, because it often goes completely undetected until it's way too late, causing irreversible damage that has really profound consequences for people's lives.
This is what's known as female genital tuberculosis, or FGTB for short. It's a secondary infection that settles into the fallopian tubes, the uterus, and the ovaries. And it primarily hits women right in their main reproductive years, typically between the ages of 20 and 40.
So you might be wondering, just how common is this? Well, a global meta-analysis published by the NIH found a truly staggering figure. Among infertile women who are actively seeking medical care, the pooled prevalence of FGTB was 20%. Let that sink in. That means 1 in every 5 women in this group could be battling this hidden infection.
So why is FGFTB so often found when women are looking for help with infertility? This quote from the study really reveals the devastating connection. The disease causes, and I'm quoting here, irreversible damage, scarring and blocking the very pathways that are necessary for conception. And when you break down the data, you see 2 distinct tragedies. For 2/3 of these women, it leads to primary infertility, meaning they may never be able to conceive at all. And for the remaining third, it causes secondary infertility, which prevents them from growing their families any further. And this isn't just a medical issue, it's a global one. This chart shows a really stark disparity. The prevalence of FGTB among infertile women is over 4 times higher in low-income countries compared to high-income ones. It's a disease that disproportionately hits the world's most vulnerable populations the hardest. So here's the crucial question. We've got this silent, destructive disease that's incredibly difficult to detect. How on earth do doctors and healthcare systems even begin to come up with a standardized plan to fight it? How do they find their way through this incredibly complex maze? The answer lies in something called clinical practice guidelines. You can think of these as meticulously developed roadmaps. They're based on the absolute best available science, and they're designed to make sure every single patient gets the highest standard of care possible. And these guidelines are built using really rigorous systems, like GRADE. The whole process kicks off with a very clear clinical question. From there, experts systematically review all the research out there. They assess its quality, and then they carefully balance the benefits against the risks and the costs to create a final, evidence-based recommendation. Now, it's important to know that not all recommendations are created equal. A strong recommendation means the evidence is crystal clear. The benefits are huge, and it applies to most patients. But a weak recommendation means there's a bit more uncertainty. The final decision there should really involve a conversation about the patient's own values and what's right for them. But here's the thing. Even with the best guidelines in the world, the entire process hinges on one critical thing: getting an accurate diagnosis. And in the fight against TB, the biggest enemy is often just the clock. So here's the dilemma. The gold standard for confirming TB is to actually grow the bacteria in a lab culture. The problem? That can take 6 to 8 weeks.
I mean, think about that. That's a dangerously long time for a disease to just keep progressing. Now sure, faster molecular tests do exist, but they aren't always accessible, especially in those lower income settings where TB is most common.
So, to break this deadlock and really speed up diagnosis, this ancient disease is now coming face to face with a powerful and kind of futuristic ally, artificial intelligence. Researchers are now developing these incredibly sophisticated AI models. What they do is they feed these systems thousands upon thousands of chest x-rays, basically teaching them to instantly recognize the subtle shadows, the patterns, and the lesions that are the telltale signs of a tuberculosis infection.
And this is the result. In literally seconds, the AI generates a perfect mask of the lungs. This instantly isolates the exact area that needs to be analyzed, allowing the model to focus its search for signs of disease with unbelievable speed and precision, without any distractions. It's amazing.
So, just how accurate is this? Well, the research shows these AI models can identify and outline the lungs on an X-ray with up to 99% accuracy. This isn't just some far-off concept. This is a remarkably effective tool that is ready to make a real difference right now.
Which really leaves us with a final, fascinating question. From a hidden global killer to a huge diagnostic bottleneck, we've seen our technology is being deployed to fight back. So, if AI can give us a powerful new weapon against an ancient plague like tuberculosis, what other monumental healthcare challenge will it help us solve next?